All right, let's see if you guys come back. Missed opportunity to comment first, mate. Yeah, sorry guys, I have no idea what happened on the other one. I don't know why it's dropping out. Should have a solid connection. Who knows? I'm so close to getting these checks out, so do I give it one more skim pass? I might actually just hit that with some 80 grit. We'll have a bit of a look, see how she comes up. It's looking nice though. I think the grain in this is going to be phenomenal. When I saw this tree, I could see that it looked good. So from the outside, which is always a wicked sign. Must have something to do with my internet mic. I'm not set up for this YouTube life, mate. It's been too long. I've forgotten what to do. I don't know. Can you set your quality and stuff? Lighting. What's this lighting? Is that turning the light on my phone on? No. I don't know what lighting means. Does it look better like that with lighting on, or like that with lighting off? I have no idea. But yeah, it's going to look sick. It is going to look sick. Tad wet. I don't know if the boys filled you in on the plan with this one. But it's not fully dry, but it's going to be returned to the earth. So it doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit it with some sandpaper now. We'll see how it looks. I just need to go dig some out of the drawer. So a little difference with, okay, cool. So this is just pre-turning, so it will finish drying faster and then turn it a second time in a couple of months. That was the original plan here, Mike. I was just trying to speed up the process, but this urn is going to be buried. So my mate kind of doesn't mind if it moves a bit and cracks a bit. He wants it sooner rather than later. I have explained to him that I don't particularly want to give him something that's going to morph and break, but then he told me that he will be burying it. So his mum recently passed. He's basically bought a plot for his mum and his dad. So this will be buried with his dad's one. His dad's still with us at the moment, but they're going to be buried together. So he kind of wants two that join together, and then he can be buried, like they can be buried. So what I'm thinking is the cap that's going to go in here might be a joining cap to put them both into the ground together. I was just going to rough turn it, let it dry, but because it's going to be buried, it doesn't particularly matter if it moves and turns a bit. What I don't want to do is clamp it on the chuck at this end because there's a bit of length to it. How big have we got there? About 270 mil. So I don't want to hook it onto the chuck. I just have this hollowing fear and be hollow in here with no support. I don't have like a steady rest or anything. So what I'm probably going to do is finish the outside, cut it about there, and then hollow it separately, like, you know, 2 separate bowls kind of thing. Then get another piece of timber from the block that's a contrasting color and glue it in the middle to rejoin it. Obviously put a hole in the center of that piece, glue it in the middle. That way it goes back together. A bit like I did with the milliput ages ago on my channel. I had a milliput sort of marble inlay to hide that seam. Don't want to put milliput in this one though, because obviously it's going to be buried again. So yeah, I'm going to turn the Dusty back on, hit this with some, well, not 120, couldn't find any 80. So I'll hit it with some 120 and we'll see what it looks like. I only want to refine that top a bit more. That dust collector is on. It is just, the bag's pretty full. And it's probably down too low. Like it's, the port's down fairly low. It was taking a bit of the dust in. Just not all of it. Not all of it. that's come up nice. You need some more sanding, but that has come up really nice. I'm going to refine that top to the final shape and then finish it off. Well, on my end, Mike, it tells me that there's 5 people here. So if you're hanging around, say g'day so we know who's here. Paul's still here. Yes, the power sander is the way to go, mate. I hate bloody sanding. But I think maybe that should have been the way that I went. A lot less sanding. Alright, let's try and get this top profile right. Still got to leave that tenon on though. We probably, well, I'm going to have to reduce the size of the cut, so perhaps look at doing that first. Have to move you guys out of the way. It should lies about that number. Sometimes it tells me 0 while people are talking. Huh. See you later, Paul. Cheers for joining, mate. Hopefully that rain clears up soon for you, bud. credits. Happy with that final shape. Timber's looking very nice. Sand up this end grain here. Yeah, I think we'll be ready to cut it in half and hollow it out. That's concerning, that big crack. That's very concerning. Close up view of the concerning crack. Jam my hand in the tripod. That's the concerning crack there. So I need to get this side at least onto the truck sooner rather than later, I think, because hopefully that doesn't let go, but who knows? Knowing my luck, mate, it will. Just as I finish sanding it all up, it will let go. Let's see why that's concerning. Yes, it is. All right, let's give this. I'm going to clean it up with some alcohol. See what she looks like. All right. Let's do this, eh? Tell you what, I thought I loved these blue shop towels, but they're starting to annoy me a bit when it comes to turning. This isopropyl alcohol has like destroyed this spray bottle as well, I think. It just does not spray properly anymore. Man, I do wish that I could hollow this out just as one piece, but I just don't have enough faith that the chuck is going to hold that securely enough for me to hollow this whole way down. What do you reckon, Mike? What do you reckon in terms of hollowing this out? I've got a Jacobs chuck I could put on there. I'd have faith that the Jacobs chuck would do a good job. It's just once the Jacobs chuck is done, that's when I don't trust the next step after that. You guys have some pretty wood down there. It's no black walnut, but yes, it's not walnut, but I'm not a walnut fan. I mean, I love the look of it, but that one piece that I got from Scotty, I hated turning that. It's got to have just been a bad piece. From everything that you guys are saying, it's got to have just been a terrible piece. But I don't know. I think our stuff's pretty nice. That is some lovely. I'm guessing it's Wandu. Actually, surprisingly nice to turn as well. I'm going to attribute that to the fact that it's still kind of green. That does look nice that way. I think that's good to polish up, isn't it? Realistically, hit it with some custom grit. Wide even. I've only sanded it to 240 at the moment. What's your biggest drill bit? I've got, I think this is a 2.5 inch Forstner bit. I'll just measure it. 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters, what, 25 mil to an inch roughly. So 70, so a bit over 3 or maybe 3 inch. 3 inch Forstner bit that I could put on the Jacobs chuck. Which realistically, it would take a lot of it out. It bloody scares me though, one catch at the end. I've got a Nova chuck, so it's not cheap garbage. But one catch up this end when it's just supported there and this whole thing just launches. That's what worries me. And that's why I'm thinking, cut it there. It also gives it a bit more visually, doesn't it? If I cut it off and then have like a contrasting piece of timber in the middle, but it would look nice. The other thing is, what's the volume? Like, what's the volume of ashes that are going to need to go into it? If I do a 3 inch hollow section down the whole way, will that be deep enough just to leave it at that? and not actually follow the contour. That's what I do wonder. All right, I'm going to dig out some custom grit and polish it up. Going to hit it with some 320 first, and then we'll polish it up. Just fine, but if you really wanted to leave it one piece, I think it's doable. But not if you're scared, because that'll get you a catch. Yeah, that's it. That hesitation will get me a catch. I am positive on that, so it does concern me a bit. But the other thing is, in order to do my other plan, I've got to get back out to their property and get another piece of timber, which then means I can't finish this today, which I was hoping I would be able to. So I just don't know what the right call is. The other thing is I can't start one, because if I do hollow it out with that 3-inch Forstner bit, my tenon, I suppose my tenon disappears, but I would technically have a mortise I could grab on to, actually. Wouldn't I? Yes, I would. So I could hit it with the Jacobs chuck first. It'd leave me a mortise that I could grab with the chuck if I did need to flip it around. I might actually do that. Just give it a good clean down before we hit it with some custom grit. I haven't got any custom wax, so I can't wax it. So custom grit's just going to have to be the final step. I also haven't cleaned up the bottom there at all. All right, let's get on to that, because that's going to be nice, polishing it up. Still working out of the OG custom grit tins. This one still feels full. Oh, check that out. It basically is a full tin. Lovely. Let's get slathering of that on there. Tell me, Mike, what do you turn custom grid at? What speed have you got your lathe at? You're trying to get this done today. Well, yeah, I mean, ideally, mate, if I can, there's no reason I couldn't get it finished today. That wasn't the original plan, but given that it's nowhere near as wet as I thought it would be, and it's not greatly, it doesn't really matter if it does move or crack, so it doesn't have to be completely dry. So yeah, I should realistically be able to get it done today. I don't know, that sounded like a hesitant comment. Why the hesitation in getting it done today? Oh, it's got a face full of it. Trying to get a bit more up the top here. I don't know how much of a delay we've got, but what speed are you turning your custom grid at, Mike? It's been a long time since I've finished something on the lathe with custom grid. I've been using it on my car recently and on a few tabletops, but I haven't used it on the lathe for a long time. Put custom grid on 500 so it doesn't spit at me, then turn it up to 1000 to buff it and break down the grit. RC lathes comfortable spinning a piece. I think I put a bit too much on. We've got a fair bit of excess there. But let's crank it then. Let's see how we go. 2000 RPM. That should have cleared off most of the excess. Now, I know you said YouTube lies about the numbers, Mike, but it's telling me that we've got 5 people here. So if you are on, hey, Eric's back. The grain looks so good. Thanks, mate. It is looking bloody nice. And I'm pretty convinced at this point that it is Wandoo. The top's looking lovely as well. Although that end grain's going to suck to work. But it is looking good. All right. Step 2, custom grit. Shout out to Scotty. And a fresh rag so that we don't mix step 1 and step 2 together. Because this one is obviously rated for a hell of a lot finer finish. And yes, I know Eric and Mike well and truly know that by now, but just in case there is anyone hiding in the shadows, because YouTube tells me there is. Say g'day, legends, if you are watching and your name is not Mike or Eric. Sometimes I start with the wax and then do custom grit on top. I find the wax kind of loses it up and helps the grit not get sticky. Yeah, I think I had that when I first, like the very first time Scotty sent me custom grit. I found it got sticky, but I was working off of like sheller wax sort of instructions. And what's the triple E instructions? And this is a lot different. But I do like this a lot better. It's a lot more versatile. So I think my switch in my lathe is going, having some problems with it today. I'll warm everything up first. Make it crank it. Beautiful. All right. Time to start the petrifying bit, I guess. I'm going to call that finished on the outside. Got a discount code to share. I do have a discount code for custom grit. It is J&D, I believe. I have not promoted it in a very long time. Oh man, I feel so rusty at this. I believe it's J&D. We'll get you, I'm thinking 10%. I'm thinking it's a 10% discount off of anything. Anything. Any of the custom grit finish, custom creations finishes, which they are all bloody beautiful and they all work a charm. So, if you're one of those people that are loitering in the shadows of this stream and you want to get yourself some wood finish, check out Custom Creations. What grit did you sand to before applying? I went to 320. Get away with half-assing your sanding a bit. Yeah, the custom grit cleans it up so good. So good. I took it up to 320. I probably could have stopped at 240, to be honest, but I don't know. Everything in me always wants to push for that higher grit. But that is nice. If this wasn't getting buried, I probably would have taken it up higher with the sanding just to get a better sheen. But I'm not too worried about the sheen. Like it's still got a bit of a sheen. It's not a mirror finish. Can't see myself in it. If it was going on a shelf, I probably would have polished it up until I could see myself in it. But given the circumstances, I think that is more than adequate. Now let's see if I can actually remember how to use this bloody Jacob's chuck, because it has been a long time since I've used that. All right. That in there. Don't let that touch the spike. That would be a foolish mistake at this point. Not quite enough space. It's a very precarious spot for that to be in, right between two spikes. It's probably be wise of me to move that, but here we are. Tighten that down. This is freaking me out already. Okay, let's have a look at this chat. Are we still live? I pressed the wrong button. I may have closed that and caused an issue like before. I hope not. Let me know if the stream's still going, mate. Take that out. There. Eric, all good. Thanks, mate. I was a bit worried then. I swiped straight out of YouTube while I was trying to open the chat. All right. Terrifying part. Oh, that's not great either. That is not going to let me get the full grip. So I need to chop that off. Oh, not what I want to be doing while I'm holding it. If that's super hard, I'd probably do the first drill with a smaller one and then move up to the big boy in stages, but we'll see. It'll be fine. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It might be, I might have to do that. But I've got to get rid of that. I forgot to part that down. So, how am I going to do that while I'm holding it? Is the question. Don't try this at home. I don't have anywhere nice and soft I can put it down and not damage the finish on the outside. This is certainly not ideal for sawing. Whoa, almost lost it too. Certainly not ideal. jump back over and have a look. You got a Japanese pull saw? I do. That is exactly what this is, mate. It's getting the job done. Just losing so much of the power of each cut with the movement because it's not clamped properly. Here we go. Do I have a Japanese pull saw? Slap a leg vise on your workbench one of these days to hold stuff like that. Ma'am, my workbench it needs an upgrade. It is not sturdy enough, to be honest with you. It is slapped together by a novice. So one of these days I will get a proper one. That is not perfectly centered, so we're going to have to adjust that. But do I have a pull saw? That was the point I was getting to. I've got about 6 up there. Love a Japanese pull saw. But yeah, my workbench is, especially since I extended it to take up more of that space, it is not up to any sort of vice, unfortunately. All right, let's try and... lost in the sawdust. All right, let's try and get this. There we go. Perfect. Crank that down. This is terrifying, because if this fails, that's like my whole morning's work gone to shite. I need that pull saw again. But at least your bench has fancy rivers of resin running through the drawer fronts. That is true. However, I'm ready to part ways with that little beautiful part of it too, because, yeah, again, just built by a novice, man. I had a crack, that was the main thing. I had a crack, I had an idea, turned out cool at the time, but it's no longer practical. But hey, I've been battling with a lot lately. I've been wondering if this whole workshop is even practical to continue having lately, mate. So it's, yeah, it is what it is. Now that's not dead perfect, but it's pretty close. I don't think I'm going to get it any closer. I do kind of want to try though, because it's not. Maybe that's not. A little bit of play in that, isn't there? I don't think it'll be noticeable. I think we're good. Let's have a look. We got any comments to catch up on? We all do things because they're fun and have to move on from eventually. It's called growth. Yeah, well, that's the point I'm at with this entire workshop, I think, mate. It was fun. It was fun, but I'm wondering if it's time to grow and move on. Speaking of growth, how small are you now? Not small enough, mate. Not small enough, but I am getting there. I am getting there. Yeah, still a bit off target. I've still got 10 more kilos to go, which I feel was exactly the same like 3 months ago, because I got right down to, within 4 kilos of my target. And then I just, fell apart, really. So I skyrocketed back up, and I'm just getting back on the wagon now. Getting back focused again now. And I'm hoping to knock this last 10 kilos out pretty quickly. And then move on to whatever's next, mate. Whatever's next. All right, let's see how silly this idea was. Too much Maccas. Funnily enough, I had Maccas yesterday. But that's the first time I've had Maccas in an extremely long time. Need to turn this lathe down. Now, I've got this positioned very precariously because I want you to be able to see, but I also don't want you in the way. So, we'll see how we run here. I might be cutting your view off occasionally because my speed's over here. Let's have a look. Why does that looks way worse position-wise now than it did before. Nah, that's not good. That's way out now. That's such a shame because that was positioned perfectly. .400 RPM. What's everyone's thoughts on 400 RPM? You just wanted to say Maccas. Mate, make it a thing in Canada. Just use it in Canada. Just say Maccas and embrace the looks. See, that's way off center for this from this end. Just gonna have to see how it goes, I guess, and hope for the best. This is where I should have a dusty on. This just falls straight into the chute down there. There is a lot of wobble going on here, eh? Why does that seem so far off center? You'll know when you start drilling it. Drilling if it's too fast, yeah. I always get the smoke. But that appears so far off center. I'm gonna play with this lathe, I think, and make sure that my head and tailstock are in alignment. I'm not going to do that now, but I feel like they may not be. All right, I'm going to go turn the dusty on for this because this is getting full on. I feel like your tailstock isn't true to the headstock because it's spinning clean. Yeah, I'm thinking the same too, man. I'm going to have to do some maintenance on this old girl. Flick that Dusty back on. I got a feeling Dusty's probably a bit locked up too. I mean, I definitely need to empty the bag. That is for sure. Easy to get impatient. Yep, I will keep it slow, mate. I will keep it slow. Didn't like that, did it? A bit chopped up there. So the worrying thing is now trying to get that back in cleanly. She's getting a bit smoky. I don't think the chips are clearing out very well. Keeps getting stuck there. Yeah, it could be a good call to lower the bit. There's a bit of burning going on in there. She's getting a bit hot, as you can see around there. I think it's got a lot to do with the rubbing, actually, on the outside, though, as well. All right, let's switch over bits though. I've got a brand new 38mm bit. Look at those shavings, but that is, it can't be dull producing, like those are so thin, the second you touch them, they just crumble. Man, that's hot. Woo. All right. My concern with this, I just don't know how this is going to translate when we switch it over. Yeah, I think the tailstock alignment is a big issue here. I think it is a big issue. Yeah. Sorry about that interruption. Let me know if you're still there. Got a phone call. All right, let's try this little one. I might wait, actually. Let me know if you're still there, guys. Yep, still there. Do a little spinny butt. Yeah, a little spinny was the wife called, and it's my old phone, but it's still hooked into the same account. So all right, that's working well. My hands start to hurt from knocking that. Yes, I should be using that, but it's got a block. I need to pull it apart. Funny you should mention that. It is on my list. I need to pull it apart and see what's reducing the suction in it. Beauty. All right, I'm going to jump up to a bigger bit. Not the top of the range one, we'll set it that. A brand new 2-inch bit here, so we can use that first, I guess. Yes, look that up for me, mate, because I haven't looked it up. I'm not sure, because I was thinking the same thing. It's approximately 200 cubic inches of ashes. What the hell is 200 cubic inches? Can I have that in real measurement, please? In saying that, I'm using a 2-inch forstner bit at the moment, so do some maths, mate. Let me know. Legend, thank you. I suppose at some point I should measure the depth that I'm at as well. Let's do that. Okay, about 185. Ah, okay, we're a decent way. What do we want to go to? Probably about 250 would be good from that point, I reckon. I don't know if I can get that deep, but we'll see. Okay, I don't have, so I've got about 250 mil I can go of depth. And it's a 3-inch force and a bit, not a 4-inch. 100%, I don't think 100% of the ashes are going to go in this either. I do think some are getting spread elsewhere. Not a great deal of them, but some of them. All right, so if I go another 4 centimeters deep, I think that's about as far as I'm going to go. Which, conveniently, I believe is the full extension that my tailstock comes out. So, that kind of worked out. I'm just doing a centimeter at a time and then relieving all those chips because this is only marginally bigger than this, so nothing can escape. As you see there, it's all getting bound up on the inside. It's handy because I can just see there's measurements on my tailstock. so I can just see the tailstock. Which lets me read those measurements just. We're just about there. That's full extension. Perfect. All right. Now the question, that's still quite a bit for that next size up to be cutting away. I do have a carbide bit. Yeah, I guess carbide hollowing tool. I do have some carbide tools. I suppose I could use the round one. It does worry me. We'll see. We'll see how I go after I get this bigger one in. I'm also thinking, well, that's still really hot, but I should probably try and hone this edge a bit on this bigger one as well. Still a fair bit to cut away. All right, let's see what I can find in order to hone that edge a bit. Okay, got a 400 grit diamond here. So 70 cubic inches, and how many did you say a full typical maths? 200 cubic inches, so that's nearly half. Okay. Does it happen to tell you that 200 cubic inches as a standard measurement, like the size that person would generally be? Okay, hopefully that gives us a nice sharp edge. See how we go. Oh, might have to tighten that chuck down a bit more. Cubic inch per pound. 1 cubic inch per pound of person, I'm guessing. Okay. $90 kilos. I'm going to have a stab in the dark and say that his mum wasn't 90 kilos. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I don't think she was. So I reckon we might be safe, eh? Surprisingly quite wet in there too. I'm just going to give this faucet a bit another touch up. Kilos. I'm going to have a 7.5 and say she was probably more than 32. I'll flick him a message now and see if he's got a rough idea what percentage will be going in the urn. See if I hit that. But the more we go with this, the more I'm thinking I don't want to use tools and follow any more than I really have to. This is where it can all just go wrong right at the last minute. Right. Oh, look at the steam on the outside. Oh, she must be, yeah, it's cooking inside. Wow. The moisture in there is phenomenal. That was moisture seeping through the finish. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Seeping through because it's getting so freaking hot inside. And obviously it's still a bit green. So it has just got nowhere to go but up and out. And we're getting all these little black dots here as well. That's weird. I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's like burning coming all the way through and starting to show on the outside. Don't know. Don't know. But yeah, that moisture is insane. Alright, how far down are we? Oh, bloody hell, we've still got to go all the way to there. You know what? That's only 95 across the bottom. We should just be alright. What did I say this sports limit was? 80. It's actually, might not be able to go full depth on this sports limit, eh? I don't know if touching it up is actually helping the process at all, but she looks nice though, eh? I think it's starting to dull a bit. Those plumes of smoke coming out. That moisture's starting to come through the finish again. Gonna have to refinish the outside, I reckon. Yeah, those new bits were cutting way better. Imagine how difficult this would be if the wood was dry. Yeah, well, I think Wandoo's like right up there with Jarrah on the Janker scale, so it would have been full on if this was dry. Give it a rest for a bit. Look at that moisture coming out. That is insane. I've never seen that before. That is mental. It's like you're boiling the internal water out through the pores. I know, it's mental. And what's even crazier is you can see like a color difference, like it's pushed all of the finish up out of the pores. That doesn't look finished anymore when it was, and that does. So it's a shame Scotty's not on here, and it feels like it's been water popped as well. It doesn't feel perfectly smooth anymore like it does down here. It feels like it's like you just water pop the table between grits. It's a shame Scotty's not on here watching this. Let's see what temperature it is. 43 43 degrees, it reckons. Or it gets warmer. $46. Yeah, see, that's pushing 50 degrees in some spots inside. And I've just pumped it with cold air, like compressed cold air. So that would have cooled it way down. I might keep this out and do a, should have read the temp of the bit right after you pulled it out. Yeah, well, we've still got a bit of temp to go. So I will do exactly that. Nearly at 150, gonna have to go at least 200, aiming for 250. So I will keep going, and then I will do a temperature read. But we should definitely bring it up to Scotty. See what he reckons, because that has just pushed that custom grit straight out. And the bit is 133.3 degrees in here. Holy shit. 97.6 degrees. I don't know what the Fahrenheit conversion is. Do you use Celsius? I'm assuming you use Fahrenheit. But 100 degrees is water boiling, so that is crazy. That was 96 degrees in there. That bit's still over 150 degrees. That's mental. So that kind of explains why it's pushing water out, I guess. No, you're Celsius but inches, hey? So are you kilometers or miles on the road then? tell you what though, we're close. We are close. I did primary school and Imperial and high school in metric. Eric, that must have sucked, man. And kilograms, once you get into bigger weights, that doesn't even make sense, Mike. Why chop and change, man? Just pick the superior method and stick with that, eh? All right. Let's get this last. I think I've got about 100 mil to go. Wait. I'm not sure on the lids yet, Eric, because my mate wants another one made for his dad, and he wants them to join together. So I'm kind of thinking I'm more of a plug, I guess, that's going to go in there, protrude a bit so that another urn can attach on the other side. That's kind of what I'm thinking and leaning towards. But pounds for like human weight. Pounds this weird half and half thing. I feel like the UK does that as well. Like a strange half and half thing. It makes it very confusing. I refused to even consider the imperial system until I started woodwork. And I only did because I had no choice once I started woodwork. Because everything's like so American focused. But I still don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how much that dust collector is actually doing at this point. But I'm just going to touch this up again. She's warm. Hopefully that helps. We are close now. We're definitely getting close. 200. What's that center? That center goes to 250. So 50 more mil. I do worry about the thickness. It's all right at the moment. I'm not going to be able to measure it much further in though. My calipers, I bought the biggest calipers I could, but they're still not going to be big enough. All right. Just going to have to take it slow and steady, I guess, because although there is still a good chunk there, definitely got to refinish this outside. I'll have to sand it again, I think. I'll have to hit the inside here, sand off that real sharp edge there. That's all right. That's fairly easy stuff to do. It was just the hollowing was the main concern. So if I need to, I've lost most of my bigger measurements there. So that's 4. So if that's 4 bottomed out there, I need to roughly take that to 9. Roughly. I'm going to put the dusty back on just because I feel like it was going to be a little bit somehow. See, I guess. Certainly not getting nice shavings anymore. Nearly there. All that moisture again. Wow. That's actually pretty much full depth. There. Very lit, yeah. I'll put that back in and I'm going to do a couple skim passes to clean up that bottom because that's pretty much done. Still thought I had another 5 to 8 mil-ish to go. I guess not. Still hot. Oh, wicked. How was work, Eric? That's awesome, man. Not off. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Couple more mil. I reckon that should have us done. Yeah, I reckon. What could be more important, Mike? What else are you up to, mate? Are we at full depth? We are. We are now at full depth. Now, one more. Well, we're as deep as I'm going to take it. Let's have a go. Yes. We're just over 250, which takes us to about there. So I'm happy with that. what I am thinking though is potentially putting this on the tailstock to hold it. I don't know how much support it'll give it though, but to maybe clean this up. Nah, sandpaper. Let's turn that dusty off a bit. Because if I'm being honest, it's not doing a great deal. The state of this place. One thing I'm starting to hate about wood turning is the cleanup is just relentless. Well, I'm getting lost, and I got an email about the work. Getting ready to sell, so that's distracting. Oh shit, man! I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I'm around if you want to have a chat on Insta. Bloody hell! I hope you're doing okay, bud. That's rough. Real rough. Sorry, man. All right, I'm going to try and see if I don't mess it up. But get this. I think I'm going to need a lower grip. I just want to get that burn out from right there at the top. But something tells me 150. I'm going to be here all day. It is what it is. Life carries on. This is true, mate. But if you want to have a yarn, reach out, man. Good call. Good call. I will be careful. I feel like I almost need to. I need a tool for this. It doesn't really feel like the safest thing to be doing. That urn just does not want to let go. That might just have to be a feature of the piece, I think. On the tool rest. Yes, that is very true. It is going to be dark in there. It's more me, I guess. I hate sending things. I hate, essentially sending pieces out that aren't like that. I'm not 100% happy with. I've got to. I know you're your own worst critic, but I do have to work on that. Okay. And I think I'm just going to come back in with 320 straight on the outside again. Wow. You can actually see it started like some real micro cracks along there. It's not spinning as true as it was. I think it is up. It is here. It's the hole that's not bored true. But up here, it is still spinning as true as I got it. How's it look on there? I think you're being deceived by that. If I bring you over here, that's still spinning fairly true. Like it doesn't feel like it's wobbling at all. It's just because that's off center. Optical illusion, for sure. Right. How's that? I think I'll have to give that one more sand. up. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's not a loud noise, but that consistent noise of that dust extractor does take it out of you. Not even going to bother with the spray bottle this time. Let's give it a good wipe down. Nice and clean. And then polish her up again. You reckon it's better, do you? Well, I hope so. I think it'll look nice. It will be nice and clean. That is just one continuing piece. I did like the cut in half one that I did, but I think because it was the milliput, it was a marble inlay. It worked really well. Now that's still quite an edge there. I'll just touch that up. There we go. Not as sharp now. All right. That's step one and step two. For anyone new, says there's 6 people on. If you are there, custom creations, custom grit, step 1 and 2 is the way to go. Jump on their website. Code is J&D for a discount. But whether you use my code or not, I still recommend you get this product because it's stupidly cheap already. And it's bloody awesome. So, affiliate link or not, get yourself some. And it's not just for woodworking. That's the best bit. I use this on my car, polish up my headlights, get rid of that clouding, buff out scratches. I use it on heaps of stuff. It is awesome. It really is. I'm going to put a little bit along here too, that I can work down the inside there. What speed are we at here? And just to add on to that little segment, unplanned sponsored segment, it's 100% food safe. I have eaten this stuff on a live stream, and I'm still here years later. That was 2021. Wow, that was 5 years ago. That's insane. Yeah, completely food safe. A little bit crunchy, so you want to make I wouldn't use it on chopping boards and stuff personally. You definitely can. Just make sure you get all the excess off and buff it really well. Otherwise, you might get a little bit of extra crunch in your meal, but you might like that too. It is literally this easy to use. When I support it on the other end, don't crank it up super fast. Forgot that. We'll keep it there. Look at that. That is looking phenomenal, if I do say so myself. Now, still got to, I'm going to have to polish up the bottom as well, which isn't great. But I'll have to do that off the lathe at this point. I'm just going to make sure to remove all of the excess. Now, Mike, Eric, I know you're well aware how to use this product, but as I said, YouTube's telling me there are some other people chilling here with us. It's not delicious. I've also eaten it. No, it's not delicious. He should make a mint flavored one and market it as toothpaste. He actually should. Like, he actually should. Might have to hit him up about that. Mint, strawberry, something. He does his candles and whatnot. He'd be able to sort the flavouring and the scents out perfectly. He should 100% do that. All right. I'm pretty happy with how this is looking, to be honest. This is turning out lovely. All right, step 2. The OG tin, nearly gone. Yeah, but see, Mike, Eric was here for like the whole of the first stream. You only came in like at the end of the first stream, mate. So, plus, Eric's still, well, not that I do videos very often, but Eric's always there. He's always one of the first. He's one of the OGs. But in all seriousness, I don't know how that top fan stuff works. He's probably just watched more of my videos than you have, Mike, at the end of the day. That's probably what it comes down to, mate. Now, I've just thought I might even laser up a little plaque for this as well, I think, eh? Keep it all timber, just use the laser so it'll all still decompose the same once it's buried, it'll all break back down. But a nice little plaque to go at the bottom here, I think, could be pretty cool. And I reckon if I do it on a piece of veneer thin enough, I'll be able to bend it around so it contours without having to get all fancy, like, shaping the back of it and all that sort of fits. Just make it thin enough so it bends around. I reckon I can do that. All the excess off. You got a point there, Mike. I just saw a comment come up and then disappear. You said something about glue. Glue problem with the wax involved now, though. That is true. That is true. I wonder if I've got like some little nails. I might have some little brass nails from the last urn I made left over. Maybe. I can't remember if I bought them individually or not. I mean, I could just laser straight on here, but I don't have a rotary attachment. So that would make that difficult. But can the laser pecker do a curve? Not really. I've got the other laser, the Ator H20 that I got sent. Funnily enough, I had organised to go and buy a rotary attachment for it, but my car broke down on the way to pick it up off Marketplace, so I couldn't get it. That is looking sweet. Happy with that. Well, I think now all that's left to do is take it off the lathe and clean up the bottom. Cut that tenon off and sand the bottom. Oh, damn it, I hate when that happens. Holy crap, what is going on there? It's like I got burning almost where the chuck jaws were holding it. I wonder if that timber was getting super hot at the bottom. Because that's like where the chuck jaws are clamped. Why is that produced like a burnt colour? Can anyone enlighten me? Yes, I could do that leather idea. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea at all. I could use leather. It's a shame I can't glue it on. But I suppose I could carve out a recess for it to go into. Like just use a Dremel, carve out the recess, use a chisel, just a couple of mil deep. Check that out though, that's come up awesome. I've never seen jaws burn like that. Yeah, me either. That's mental. I'm bloody stoked with that though. That has come out lovely. And then I just think like a tapered plug would be the way to go. And it can just be friction fit, slightly tapered, bigger than 3-inch. The ashes can be put in this one. The plug can be hammered in so that it's just locked in there. And then eventually when the other urn gets used, that can just go straight on top and can potentially even be hammered in from there to lock them both together. I think that'll work perfectly. I think that the hardest bit, plug should be black walnut. I don't have any black walnut. We'll just use a wood burner and do it by hand right on the urn. Yeah, I could do that. I'd have to write it out. I'd be so nervous about it not looking perfect like the laser could do, doing it by hand. But I'm going to have to grab all these measurements so that I can make the other one as close to it as possible. Well, I'm going to go grab a drink and then I might spend 5 minutes with you legends and then cap this live stream off, I think. Figure out the next steps. Just got to have an air shower before I go inside. Don't shoot off just yet. I'll be back, guys. All right. What a mess. I've got to spend some time cleaning up this workshop. All right. How do we... Will that turn it round? All right. Legends. What's going on? Ironbark lid. I'm going to have to shoot out... I might make the lid just straight out of the same timber, I think. Beers and cheers, but with Pepsi Max, guys. It's been a while since we've done one of these live streams. The chat keeps disappearing, and it's driving me mental because I've got to keep coming up to the screen here. But my mate wants to keep it as timber from the block, and I only got that one species. You know what? I've got a burl that I cut off a tree from their block. Was that the kind of idea for logo you were chasing? What's that, Eric? You know what? I think it's out the back in an IBC container with all my other burl, because I don't see it under there where it used to be. But I did have a burl that I cut off a tree on their property years ago. Back when I did Travelling Turner, actually, when I went and scouted for Travelling Turner, because so my mate's parents own two big properties, like 60 acres and then 150 acres. The 150 acre one is where I did episode 9, I think, of the Travelling Turner, the Mulabini one. That's their property. That whole episode was shot on their property. So I did grab a piece of burl on that trip, but I think that's the only bit of burl I got. There's not much there. It's probably not enough to do a plug, to be honest. I'll message him. I'll message him and see if he wants the plug from their property as well. If he does, I'll have to drive out there and go have a bit of a scout again. That's fine. We can manage that. We can manage that. Oh, that was for Mike. Right, gotcha. I don't know where, if I did have any... I mean, in saying that, I've got normal nails. I could always cut them down. They'd probably be a bit thick, though. They'll probably be a bit thick. I don't know. I don't know if I would have any brass nails left or not. I'll have to dig in to my stock and see, but I got to clean this mess up in here. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. 160 minutes, man. So what's that? Nearly 3 hours. The first stream was like an hour and a half. So what? 4.5 hours. Cut some copper wire. Yeah. Don't think I've got any copper wire, but that would work too. No, I don't think I've got any copper wire. What was the reddish wood that was in your last table with the creamy pale sapwood? In my last table, that would have been Jarrah. That would have been, yeah, if the coffee table, the video, or I can't remember if I posted. So the last table I made, I haven't edited the video of. I did a dining table, but it was the same bloke who ordered that coffee table I did the video on. So it was the same timber. So it would have been young Jarrah, like really young pink Jarrah with a lot of sapwood. So I haven't got any of that left. I do have some offcuts from the table that I recently did, that guy, dining table. I've still got to edit that video. Not sure what I'm doing with it. Don't even think I got any real finish shots before he picked it up, but it is what it is. Yeah, I got some Jarrah there. That would look good as a plug. It would, like having a contrast there would look pretty good. I think that would be really slight taper that almost comes to like a triangle point between them when they lock together. I think that could look pretty cool once they're together. I'll have to see if he's happy for me to use. I mean, the other option is I've got more Wandoo, so I could use the Wandoo and I could stain it like red. I reckon if I stained it red, it would go like a browny, sort of a darker, like a blood red brown sort of colour. I could use some stain for it. That could be cool. What do you reckon of that? And then that saves the additional trip out to the block as well to get more timber, because that would be quite a hike. Quite a hike. YouTube is telling me 6 people are here. If you're around, say g'day, folks. Say g'day. Mike, what are all these buttons down the side when you film on your phone? It's like all these other options and stuff. Compressor's got a slow leak. Like a burgundy, yeah. Yeah, it would. That could work. That could work. There's a lot of turning though, because they're massive chunks that I've got. So that would be, I guess I could cut off, like with the chainsaw, cut a bit off and just turn it in the other orientation. It probably wouldn't be as strong though, because that'd be across the grain, so that may snap. You probably want long grain going the whole length of the plug so it's the strongest. Which would be a hell of a lot of turning, because I only grabbed big pieces. You can add filters and stuff, don't bother. Right, you can play around with it. Yeah, I only grabbed big limbs off that tree. I didn't think about getting any smaller ones for the plugs, but that probably would have been a good idea. That probably would have been a good idea. Oh well. G'day from Melbourne. Hey mate, how are you? Melbourne, over the other side of the country. How is it over in Melbourne at the moment? I haven't stuck my head outside of this workshop since about 9 o'clock this morning. So it was looking pretty overcast this morning. Managed to get a run in without getting wet, so that was a positive. But rain is forecast all week, so probably going to get saturated tomorrow morning when I go out. We'll see. My son tagged along this morning. that was a first for him. I was quite impressed. He kept up. We did 8Ks and he kept up. That's on the good side of Oz. The good side of Oz. I don't know about that, Mike. I don't know about that. I do like the West. Getting cold. It is getting cold over here too, mate. I think we're at 9 degrees this morning, and that was a warmer morning when I got out. But yeah, my son actually tagged along this morning, and he kept up. He kept up the whole 8K, closer to 8.5. He was on his scooter, but he's 8 years old, so I think he did bloody awesome. I was expecting him to slow me right down, not to slow me down, but for the pace of the morning to be a hell of a lot slower. But it was good. It was good. He kept up, and he loved it too. So that was wicked. A bit grey looking in Queensland. Probably similar to what we got here, man. Probably similar to what we're looking at here. There's some big system off the west coast, I think, that's coming in slowly, and it's not like last weekend. We got smashed by a big storm last weekend. This one's more just overcast conditions for the week, I think. Oh, my bin's over the other side to try and catch chips as they fly off. Oh, that dust really got me from that. Oh, there is so much cleanup to do here. Oh, I am spewing that we didn't get. Although, you know what? Wait there. Oh, this is a hefty chunk, but this one is a weird shape anyway. So that wouldn't be great to put on the lathe. So I kind of like that. I was going to put this in the garden, like for my daughter, as like a fairy door thing. It's kind of cool, but I think it's heavy stuff, eh? It is really heavy stuff. If I cut that on the bandsaw, like along there, take this piece, then I can keep the long grain orientation and turn the plug from that. I'll have to make sure I cut enough off though so that I can turn it down to just over 3 inches. That could work though. That could be the solution here. And then I'll have to see. That paint worked quite well. I didn't have any like sealant for the ends, and I was trying to slow down the drying process. Paint worked reasonably well. I was worried because there was already like a lot of checking in it. Because I don't know when the tree fell. It had been down a while already, so I didn't want it to keep getting worse. But that worked pretty well. That worked pretty well. All right, YouTube's telling me there's 8 people on now. Say g'day if you're here. Otherwise, I have been live streaming for a while this morning, and I've got some more stuff to do. Good turns, my friend. I'm going to duck out and head to bed. Talk again soon. See you later, man. Cheers for tuning in. Cheers for tuning in. I'll try and make this more frequent. Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow. Turn the other on. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's not a promise. It's just a maybe. But stick your head in YouTube before you head off. So I'm going to cut the tenon off, clean the bottom of that urn. I'm going to grab that actually. So cut that tenon off, and I'm just going to sand that with the orbital. I think I'll smash it with like 80 grit to try and shape it a bit. Just give notice next time. Well, check in around the same time tomorrow, man. Maybe a little bit earlier. But clean that tenon up, and then that is done. Not too far. I've finished a little bit of the way. It's actually crazy how warm it still is in there. But it's still raw at the bottom. As I've said though, it's going back to the earth, so it'll be fine. Natural food safe finish on there. I was going to put some oil in. I've just remembered that actually. I won't do that now. I've got to cut that off, sand it down, and then work on some sort of plug for the top, and then do a second one. That came out beautiful though, didn't it? Check that out. Very nice grain. And it's like actually crazy close up. I don't know if the camera will let me bring it close enough for you to see. It won't, but there's just so many curls and waves all in there. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And sentimental too. Straight from their property. It had actually fallen over the driveway. So got out there with the chainsaw, cleared the driveway, grabbed a few pieces of it. Now I just got to figure out, whether I hand burn. Could be an option. I reckon I could. If I spend the time and sort of write it out neatly, maybe we could hand burn it, or maybe I'll do the leather. I kind of like the leather idea too. That might be cool. All right. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to shoot, but I'm thinking I may do the same thing tomorrow. Possibly. So if you're about tomorrow, check out, turn notifications. If you're not subscribed, it says I've got 6 people here. I know the legend Eric is subscribed. If you other 5 guys aren't subscribed yet, subscribe and ring that notification bell. And then you'll know if I do go live tomorrow, you'll have a little pop-up come up. And we can see what we can make tomorrow. Given the time, I'm probably not going to start turning the other urn now, but I might have a crack at doing the plug. Yes, I saw your messages come through, Eric. Once I get inside, man, I will check them out later today. I will get cleaned up before I pull my actual phone out. My old phone's getting covered in dust. Try and keep the other phone hidden away. But I will check them tonight, man. Thank you for joining me for as long as you have. Absolute legend. And we'll see. I might jump back on tomorrow and do the same thing. Cheers, guys. Enjoy. Just subscribed. Thanks, Alfred. Glad to have you on board, man. Got a huge catalogue of videos. I haven't had anything new come out for a bit. I've been astray for a little while. Gonna try and get some more stuff coming out, though. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. But there's a massive catalogue there. Tie things over until I can pull that all together. Cheers, legends. I am signing off if I can figure out how to.